All right, for more on this we're now being joined by Adrian KL. He's a fellow at the Arabian Peninsula Institute, terrorism and Middle Eastern scholar. Thank you so much for joining us on World DNA this morning. Now, Mr. Khalil, the question is a ceasefire anywhere on the table? Do you think it'll come anywhere in the near future, or do you think this is just space saving at this point for the United States, of course, as the elections are approaching as well?
Yeah, it's a great question. I really think it's more of the latter. It's more face saving. It's more of Blinken making another trip, his 11th trip, to try and make the point that we have some influence in this protracted conflict, especially related to the hostages. And then I think we also need to take a step back with everybody talking about the death of Sinwar being an opening. We have to remember that the Hamas has elected their whole new point bureau. They're sitting in Qatar. They're directing out of Gaza, and ultimately the decision may rest in Qatar, but ultimately the Islamic Republic, so we can continue to pressure Israel into making some type of deal and proposal, have been put on the table. Nothing post Sinwar, so to speak, but I don't expect any movement, unfortunately.
As far as the hostilities between Israel and Iran are concerned, well, it's on the brink of only going further from here, because reports are suggesting that the IDF has completed preparations for a strike on Iran, as has doubled its interceptors for the THAAD systems, expecting an immediate response from the Iranian side. Iran-Israel, is the war certain now, or do you feel the two sides may just dull it down the way they did earlier in April in the year?
No, great question. I don't expect it to die down. Israel has to respond. They're going to respond, not just for the most recent rocket barrage that we saw was on October 1st, but you also have the attempt made on Netanyahu's life that was actually directed by from Lebanon. Mentioned that it can't be ignored, so that again is no, it can't be ignored, it can't be ignored. And this is the first time that a head of state has been attempted to be taken out. We have to remember Nessa is not a head of state. Sinwar is not a head of state. Ahan was not a head of state. So something is coming out of the US. They lack credibility, this administration, when it comes to the Islamic Republic and working with them. We've lost collective deterrence. They talk about working together. It's been Israel doing all the heavy lifting here, and there's some really concerning reports coming out of the United States, where if I was Israel I would not trust the United States and make sure not to reveal too much of what they plan on doing. There's a leaked memo coming out of the DoD. They've allowed Tehran to fuel their proxies over the last 4 years through unsanctioned oil sales, and they're still pursuing a nuclear agreement. So Israel is they're going to act in their own interests. The US THAAD systems, I want to point that out, that systems are really there to protect us interests that we have on the ground there. It's not so much to protect Israel. So there's something coming. It's a question of what's it going to hit. Is it going to be the petrochemical industry? Is it going to be military targets? Is it going to be the oil industry? Is it going to be certain infrastructure? What, or the nuclear facilities? That's the big one that everybody's asking about. So something, yeah.
I just wanted to come in there. You mentioned something very interesting, that US has positioned those THAAD systems there to protect its own interests and not Israeli interests. If you can elaborate further on that, because there were also reports that Israel was saying they didn't need US boots on Israeli soil. US has sent over 100 military boots there. They've sent their THAAD systems there. They've increased the interceptors there, and you're saying that they're protecting their own interests. What are these interests?
Well, if you look at where the THAAD is deployed there, around in the NGV, for example, that's one area where they are deployed, and they're around where US has certain, I can't go into too much detail, but they have certain interests, hardware interests, intelligence interests, that they don't want to be targeted inside. It's protecting our own interest within the country, within Israel. Understood?
Also, of course, Israel has confirmed the death of Hashim Safar there, are reports that Naim Qassem has fled to Iran as well. Now these military factions, they have not named their next head. Why do you think that he is?
It's because great question. It's because they've been completely thinned out. When you look at their structure, Naim Qassem really is the last notable figure that I see sitting up there, and now he's much older than Nala and people that have been removed. But that's been part of the Israeli strategy, was to go from the bottom up and remove the Hisa structure, so that they can't replace these positions, as opposed to a decapitation strike where you go after Noala. First, there's always someone that's going to come up and fill. So I think it's because they have a manpower problem and a leadership problem. Thanks for watching this video.